Welcome to the Level Up Your Band podcast, episode 78. Hello, and welcome back to the Level Up Your Band podcast. My name is Gavin Patterson, and I'm not here with Julian Pombo because he just left. So I'm doing this after we've just filmed and recorded the big 2-hour episode. So this is going to be part 2 of what we were doing last week. So we're continuing with the little 2-parter on how to start a new band, with all the material we've gone through for the last year and a half of the podcast, all distilled into 2 episodes. So hope you enjoy part 2, and we'll start that now. Cool.
Totally.
So step 5, recording. So I'll put this in here for a certain reason, but I'll tell you. Recording. So when you're starting out, you need material, because the way it works now is you record material and you release it for free so that you can promote a gig. So you need material beforehand. Now, you can gig. I recommend that you do gig before you record as well. But you're going to make no money whatsoever because you don't have anything to sell.
Yeah.
You have nothing. You're just a band that are just trying out new songs. So that's your testing phase for gigs.
Yeah.
Where you're going to go out and you're just going to play some songs that you've just written and you're rehearsing and you're testing them out with an audience to see what it's like.
Yeah.
And you might not know in the rehearsal studio what it's going to be like, but when you play it, you're like, that bridge really doesn't work, does it? Let's just scrap it. Or that verse is too long, let's cut it. You start to learn things, and then you hone your song until you think, right, I think it's time to record this. It's now sounding good. So to start with, record 2 or 3 songs. So go into the studio and record maybe 2, 3 at the most at any one time. Don't go in and be like, right, I want to record 12 songs in 2 days. Don't do that. Where you're in the studio, you start at 9 a.m. and you're there 24 hours, 24-hour shift or something like that. Some studios do that. Those studios are wrong. That's not how you do it. I hear stories all the time where like these weird stoner guys that just sit in their back caves and sit and record bands in 3, 4, 5 in the morning, like all night. It's like, stop it. There's no reason for that at all. No reason at all. You're just making crap.
Yeah.
Like there's no way that the music is going to be good. It's just going to be. You're going to take 4 hours to do something that would take you an hour if you were actually well slept and well fed. So why don't you just operate in the hours that you're most well rested and well fed, most alert, and you'll get much higher quality stuff done in a shorter amount of time.
Yeah.
Stop wasting your life going 24-hour shifts and all that. Like, people are still doing that to this day. It's like mental.
Yeah.
I used to do stuff like that when I was younger, maybe 8 years ago, where I would record till 2 and 3 in the morning, very, very occasionally. And I soon realised after doing it a few times, like, this is stupid. So I've just made it as a rule. My operating hours for recording is 10 till 5. And if you are desperate for a recording, I will maybe do to 10 o'clock for an hour or 2. No more than that after 5. Just because 9 times out of 10, you never achieve the results that you want. Or it takes you longer to get there, and it's just not fun for anyone. So record 2 or 3 songs to start with. Use a studio you like the sound of. So browse about, look in your local area, go on Google, recording studio, local area, make sure your location services are turned on your Google Chrome app or whatever, so that will give you a radius of studios in your area. Have a look at the ratings on Google. It's a good one as well. Mm-hmm. You can see, this place has got, 2 reviews. They're both 5-star, but it's only 2. Not great. Or this place has 18 5-star reviews. That's a bit better. Or this place has 40, but they're all 2 stars. You can gauge it. And go onto their actual websites. That's where you can separate the wheat from the chaff. So if it's got, some good reviews on Google, but their website hasn't been updated since 2004, then maybe this is a studio that once was great but now isn't. Like, look at what they've been releasing recently. Look at their band discography and what have they been recording. Have they got a Spotify playlist?
Mm-hmm.
How well connected are they? What bands have been in here? Are they in your genre? Blah, blah, blah. If you find a studio and you listen to their stuff and go, yeah, this is totally up my street. This sounds like they would do a good job if we went here. Once you've picked the place, go and visit the studio. Phone them up and say, hey, I was wondering if I could come down just for a wee visit and a chat. We're thinking about booking in to do a couple of songs. Is it all right if we just come down for just a cup of tea? And the studio will go, yeah, sure. Yeah, come down and we'll have a chat and a meet. I love it when bands do that. I've actually got a booking thing. They can book an hour coffee meeting, so they can come in and see the studio, meet me, have a chat about the music, and then go home. And it's a chance to meet the guy, see the studio, see the process, have a chat about your project. You should 100% do that every single time. Don't just book a place and then turn up and record. Scope it out. You don't have to take the whole band, but if you want to, you can. Like a couple of these.
Ask other people too.
Yeah. Where have you been? Where did you record that? Yeah.
Going back to, have we talked about gigging yet?
Well, that's next.
Oh, is that next?
That's next.
That's next. All right. Okay. Well, this kind of goes the same way. Like when it comes to gigging, which we'll talk about. But ask people, where have you played? And then drop that name at the venue that you're booking. If they're like, oh yeah, it was great, be like, so and so from such and such band who played here recommended it. And said that we blah, blah, blah. Anyway, but same thing with recording studios. Just ask people. Who do you recommend? Who have you worked with?
There's a downside to that as well sometimes, because
nepotism.
People will recommend a studio that they recorded in, and they fail to mention all the bad things about them. Maybe your friend has only been to one studio and doesn't know how bad they are because they haven't had anything to compare with. So I've heard stories of, this is kind of mental. It's a friend of mine who recorded in a studio, did their EP, and everything was great. And another friend of mine asked that friend, where did you record that? It sounds really good. And it was like, oh, I recorded it here. Yeah, should go and check it out, whatever. And then they go down, and then the guy was an absolute nightmare to work with. Was really kind of creepy and pervy and stuff. And we're talking about a female artist, and he was very, creepy.
Right.
And mentioned that to the other friend, and they were like, oh yeah, you can be like that sometimes. I was like,
that's important.
That's important. It's really important. Like, you're going to be spending large quantities of time usually with these people, so you want to make sure what was it like? The end result was good, but is it really worth? Is that whole thing? Was the hang good, or was he a bit of a creep? Or was he kind of weird or smelly even?
did the place smell bad?
Yeah, was the studio an absolute tip?
Was he completely unhinged?
Yes. Constantly smoking weed and all this stuff. I mean, if you're into that, fine, whatever. But not in a professional environment.
No. I did a recording, actually. I'm not going to say where it was. I don't even remember. It was ages ago. But I recorded some music for a thing in the studio. And, I mean, the guy was really chill or whatever. He was fine. But he was just constantly... It was on April 20th, right? So he was like, here we go. 4:20, so he was just smoking weed the entire time.
4:20, am I missing something?
Yeah. You really are.
What's that?
It's the weed number.
All right. Okay.
it's a thing.
idea.
It's like a cultural thing. I don't even remember how it started, but it's like, 420 blaze. Anyway,
Fair enough.
This is the kind of person that we're working with, guys.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So it was 420, which is like it's a very it's a holy number for weed smokers. It's the only way I can describe it. And it was just constant the whole day. Just smoking and recording. And I was just like, right, okay. Yeah.
If you're into that.
I don't, honestly, because at the end of the day, I really don't care that much about recreational drug use. It honestly really doesn't bother me, right? Because I believe that you can still be a hardworking professional person, and if you want to go home and smoke weed or do whatever, microdose mushrooms, whatever. Listen, that's your business. You do whatever you like. Do you know what I mean? But don't bring it into the work. It's just, I love whiskey. I'm a whiskey drinker. I absolutely love it. Imagine if I turned up to Eriska rehearsals with a bottle of whiskey every single rehearsal. And I was just like, steaming, open it. Yeah, not even steaming, just one or two glasses,
It'd be weird, yeah.
It's just weird.
Yeah.
It's just don't do that.
I did some work experience at a golf club once when I was 14, and the boss would just be sitting there glass after glass of red wine on the job, middle of the day, a Tuesday afternoons, and down in the red wine. I was like, okay, this guy was reeking of booze all the time. Anyway.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not fun.
Yeah.
Especially for teetotal guys over here who don't touch a drop of alcohol or anything like that.
Any substance.
It's such a bummer for folk like me. It's just sitting there cool. You feel like it's the equivalent of being excluded when people are on their phones. You're just like, cool, I'm just gonna sit here and watch this happen. This is fun for me. Yeah. So visit the engineer, make sure he's not a stoner. Or make sure he is a stoner, depending on your persuasion.
Just make sure he's not a stoner when he's working. Really.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah. If he offers you coffee, great. If he offers you weed, run.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Unless you want that. Whatever. So
it's all
next,
about professionalism.
Chart out the song so everyone knows the structure. Yeah. Amount of times it's oh, do we play another verse there? Or is that chorus double the length or single the length? Oh, I don't know. Happens all the time. Figure out the song tempo and time signature. It's 4/4 all the way through, and it's 110 BPM. That way, the engineer knows the click track rate, tempo. Mapping,
if you're a prog band and you're writing really complex songs, you need to make a note.
Just make a tempo map.
Yeah.
Get a DAW and make a tempo map and send it to the studio before you start, so that they're not how many bars of 7/8? Okay, 3 bars of 7/8, then a bar of 3/8, then a bar of 9/8, then 4/4 for 2 bars, then 3/4, then 3 bars of 7/8. Go away. No, you'll take 3 hours doing that in one song. So do your tempo mapping if it's complicated in Sibelius or MuseScore or Cubase or Pro Tools or Logic, and then export your tempo map and send it to the engineer. Because no. It can take ages if you have complex songs. But if it's 4/4 all the way through and 120 all the way through, you can do that on the day. It's not a problem. But make sure you know what it is before you start. Because you're what tempo is that song? It's about that. Right, okay. And then you put the click track on and then record the whole song. And then they're feels a bit slow, doesn't it? It feels a bit slow. I think we play that faster. No. Make sure you know exactly what it should be.
Yep.
Another level up your band pastime. Service your instruments.
Yeah. Totally.
Restring, make sure your pickups are all working. Pickup selectors, they always love to go on the Strats. And
Totally. It's set up, once a year. Just a routine clean,
Yep.
really.
Yep.
It's kind of important. And do a bit of research. Find somebody that's is going to do a good job.
music shop. Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes
Not your uncle who had a guitar once.
Yeah, not your uncle who had a guitar once. And I'm going to go as far as be careful with big chains. Not going to mention any names.
Pedal chains.
Sure. No, I mean chain stores.
Oh, chain stores. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Your Tesco's and your Walmarts of music.
Aye.
You
mean guitar.
Please bleep that. Because I don't want to,
Why not?
Yeah. Anyway, you're much better off, I think, going to actually looking up. I'm sure maybe because it'll depend from store to store, right?
Absolutely.
It might be that person that works at that particular shop is actually really, really good, but I think you're just better off going to somebody a little smaller, a little bit more
More at stake.
Local.
More at stake. Because the thing is, with a big chain, they have less incentive to get it right because they have a big chain and the hit that they would take from doing a bad job won't suffer as much.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're one guy with a wee shop and you start to get negative reviews, that's going to hurt you a lot. So you're incentivized to do a good job. So you probably will get a better service with a small independent company, a family-run business. They care more about their customers because they actually own the business. Whereas a guitar tech, whatever, is just selling guitars in a big chain store, they don't care. They're going to get paid anyway. They'll get fired, sure, but if they do an okay job, they'll maybe keep their job. But if you do an okay job in a self-employed business, your customers will dry up, and you've got a better incentive. You care more about the customers. Typically.
But that's always important. And I always let you do this because you're a genius. Let engineers do their thing.
Right, yeah. Allow the engineer to add their
100%.
creative flair and don't be a mad control freak.
Yeah.
Because the engineer, if it's a decent engineer, they should be musicians as well. If the studio person, producer, isn't a musician, that's a red flag. Sorry. It's a red flag. I wouldn't trust a recording engineer / producer who doesn't know anything about how to play music, how to play a musical instrument, or maybe a singer, yeah, sure. But if they have no clue how to play a musical instrument and they are making music, no.
Yeah.
I just don't think it works. I mean, the greatest engineers and producers of our time were all fantastic musicians. George Martin was an accomplished pianist and composer. Chris Lord-Alge is a great guitar player and drummer, and he can play a bit of keyboard as well. He's great mix engineer. Bob Clearmountain plays guitar. These are all big, huge names. I'm trying to think of more who play guitar and stuff.
Aye.
Loads.
You have people who work in the
Rick
producing
Rubin as well.
Yeah, in the producing end. Rick Beato is a phenomenal guitarist and
bass player,
piano, exceptional music theory knowledge. You know, so yeah. That's always another really good sign when you're working with an engineer who can play music.
Yeah, I can play drums. I can play keyboard, I can play a bit of guitar, and I can play a bit of bass. Enough to know what I don't know. That's the perfect amount. I know enough guitar to know how bad I am and know how little I do know. That's that. Like that in general is a good rule. Like to learn enough to know how much you don't know. If you think you know it all, then you've got problems. And that goes for the most proficient guitarists in the world as well. If you think you know it all, you never know it all. That's why was it this? I can't remember. You've said this before. Like you're always a student of the instrument. You're always studying the instrument. You're never
there's no such thing as like
I've completed it.
yeah. You can't complete guitar.
Completed it, mate.
Completed it, mate. It's not like you can't get the platinum achievement of bass playing or drumming. The platinum trophy, or like get all the achievements and stuff. That's not how it works.
Yep.
It's with an instruments. It's you start it. And that's kind of it, really. And you just keep going, and you keep going. There's a lot of disciplines that are like that. Martial arts is another really good one.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as like, see when you see a black belt, that's not the end.
Oh no.
No, there is so much more beyond that. And there's a guy at the club that Rachel goes to who is amazing. He's not interested in getting, so with black belts you get like first dan, second dan, blah blah blah. So it's almost like extra tags on your black belt to show certain levels of achievement or whatever. He stopped at his first dan and he was like, I don't really want to do any more. Like I've got the black belt. That's it, I don't want to go through any more exams or like things like that. I'm just going to spend time just working on it. I mean, the whole concept of the whole grading system is kind of bogus, and it was just invented.
It's a way of measuring.
It's a way of measuring, but
progress.
Before it was just like,
it's the same as grades.
Yeah,
same as grades for studying musical instruments.
Yeah, with grades, totally.
Just measures improvements.
But even then, it's like I've met people who have grade 8 on an instrument and they suck. Same thing with like Rachel in karate has like sparred with black belts who are terrible at doing certain things. So it's sure, like you can do grades and stuff, but at the end of the day, it always makes me sad as well. See when people get their grade 8 and then they stop.
Yeah. They think achievement unlocked. Now I can do something else.
That's not the point.
No, it's an ongoing study.
It's an ongoing process.
You constantly perfect your craft. You can take it to as long as you can take it to any limit. It's if you want to devote yourself to an instrument, you can spend your entire life learning new things about that instrument.
Totally.
Every day. It's never ending because it's what you use the instrument as a way of communication. It's communicating music, which is an emotional language.
Is more or less a language.
It is a language.
It's got a written system, like different dialects.
Yeah, 100%.
It is a language. It's crazy,
and it's a way of expressing a human emotion in the form of sound. And there are better ways of learning how to do that, and more effective ways of communicating. It's like think of like novelists or just writers in general. Like they are constantly perfecting their craft, how they can use words to convey emotion or story. It's genius. Like some people spend their entire lives like perfecting that craft, and it's such a cool endeavor. And it can be done with, you look at some of these classical instruments, like your violins and all this, Some people just spend an entire lifetime just studying the violin, and they become superhuman to the point where the violin doesn't sound like it's being played by a human being. It sounds like a naturally occurring sound. It's so perfect that it doesn't sound real. It sounds like it's part of nature. It's like a bird song. It's so proficient. They become so good at it that it's just like breathing. It's such an amazing thing to see when someone's really that good. Same with artists or sculptors. Sculptors. Yeah, humans are cool. Humans are great.
Yep.
And
Sure
just
are.
stopping at an arbitrary number is, I don't know.
It's a bit immature,
Yeah.
is what I'm going to say. It's going to tick off a lot of people.
So this was a mad rabbit hole.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the time as well. Do we have...
It's all right. We're just, if you've got time, I think we'll just keep going until we're done, and then we'll split it in two.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Just get it done. Cool. So, yeah, allow the engineer to add their creative flair. So, anyway, mad tangent. So, step 6, releasing. We're not at gigging yet, so I'll explain why. Releasing, obviously, like I said previously, you release material so that you can promote your gig. So you've recorded your stuff, you've got 2-3 songs in the bank. We've talked about release schedule at length. So I think that's probably one of the most important lessons I've learned from doing the podcast is learning how releasing music has changed so much. The whole releasing small bite-sized chunks instead of big, huge albums.
Yeah.
So my advice for people starting a new band is to release one song at regular intervals. So that's like monthly or 2 monthly or 6 weekly or 3 weekly or whatever it is. So you have maybe 3 songs in the bank, recorded, ready to go, and you release one, and then wait a month, and then release another, and then wait a month, or 2 months, whatever it happens to be, so that you've got a regular flowing conveyor belt of new music constantly coming into the ether. I don't know. because the way social media works and the way everything works now is it's all impression based and engagement based. So if you don't keep on that, eventually it will just dry up. It's just the nature of the game now. So and I've advocated for this before, is release on a paid platform first, like Bandcamp or Patreon, then wait. And then when you release your next tune, like a month later, you then release the first one on Spotify and Apple Music and all that. And you use it like in a conveyor belt. So you start off in the paid stuff. So, to any supporters who wish to donate money to the bands, they will get the free song. But if they wait a month, it'll come out for free. But if you really want the song now, you can do this and support us. You can frame it that way. Music industry sucks. Hey, am I right? Yeah. So you can support us directly. Phrase it however you want.
Yeah.
I like the idea of giving fans a chance to support you directly. Cut out the middleman. Instead of taking a 0.0001 pence for, a stream. Why not release it for a month? When that peak is high, when you release something, you get that big high peak of engagement, and then it teeters out to nothing. Put it on a pay platform so that you capitalize on that high peak.
Yeah. And
then when it starts to come down, you release it on the free platforms. Drum up hype on social media, like we've been saying all through this process. You should be posting on social media about all your updates, and drum up hype with the use of video content for your music, because every song that you release should have a video attached to it, whether it's crazy high quality or a simple but stylish cheap video shot on an iPhone. Now, you can be creative in this. You can use an iPhone and a gimbal to record a music video. It can be really simple, but it can be shot stylishly. It can be edited really well. It can be done. You can make it work. Just put your creative juices into it. The creative process does not end at the music. It goes right through this whole process. All the releasing, the marketing, video, the whole thing should be a creative endeavor. Anything that your band touches should have your signature, your style, your flair attached to it. If it doesn't, then like why should people care? If it's just music and nothing else, like they want an experience from you. They want everything should be branded, everything should be cohesive, everything should be creative and fun and engaging.
Something.
The process should be as creative as the songwriting process, right the way through.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. See, filming music videos, when you get to have fun with it, it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's so fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. So it's nothing stopping you from making it.
No, not at all. And if you've got a bit of money saved from gigging and stuff, you can put that towards
which you should,
a video. By the way. Absolutely, yeah. Like go and get it. I mean, even if you shoot it on iPhones and just your home cameras or whatever, get it edited.
Totally. I mean, like iPhones can shoot in 4K now. It's insane.
Correct. Yep, they can shoot in 4K, and you can go and buy a gimbal on Amazon for £100. Shoot some stuff, shoot loads of footage, and then hire an editor to come and edit it and make something look cool. So you can do like color grading and all that, and make it look really stylish.
Yeah, totally. Or if you already know how to do video editing, just do it yourself.
Yeah. Be creative.
Yes.
Don't just think, oh, that's just poster design, or that's just ticket design, that's just website design. That doesn't really matter as long as it's doing its job. No. Like that's what they did in the 70s to places like Cumbernauld Town Centre. They just built this concrete jungle and purely like utilitarian. It was an ugly piece of crap. Because they thought that people were just purely utilitarian creatures, but they're not.
No, they're not.
It's form and what's it? What do you call it? Function and form.
Totally.
It's got to be both.
They did I'm really bad for tangents, but it's like that. Do you know the experiment about the rat? Utopia. There was a guy tried to make this rat utopia for these rats, and they had basically everything that they could ever possibly want.
Okay. Sleeping
quarters, like places to eat, places to exercise, basically a Cumbernauld, and it totally failed.
Yes.
These rats were depressed. Mm-hmm. They were getting addicted to things.
Yep.
Some rats were prostituting themselves. Mm-hmm. Insane.
Sounds like Western culture. Does it not? It's almost as if when you take the drive to do things away from people, they just become nihilistic and helpless, and it's like take responsibility for. I sound like Jordan Peterson. It's like, take responsibility for the things that you're responsible for. Take a little bit of, what's the word? Like this whole process, like releasing your material. It's like take it all on. Like actually put effort into it. You'll get so much satisfaction from it. Honestly, it's it's such a cool thing to do, especially if people like it and they tell you that they like it. I mean, I was saying earlier that bands that don't engage with their fans usually break up because they have there's no feedback at all. It's like, oh, I listened to your song, it was amazing. If there's no feedback, if there's no gratification, it's just like you have to work hard at something and achieve the results to feel like life's worth living. Generally, like if you're just sitting about everything's provided for you. You know, you don't have to go and work for anything. It's like, what's the point? Do you know what I mean? Like working to achieve something that you want to set out and do is something good about that.
Mm-hmm.
So no rat utopias.
No. By the way, look that up.
I will. Yeah, sounds interesting.
Like people listening, I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but insane, absolutely insane. This was back in the day when now it would probably be classified as animal torture because it was.
Yeah, kind of.
Like it was really, really sad.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So step 7, gigging.
Yes.
Performing. So of course, like I alluded to earlier, whether it was in last week's episode or this week's episode, depending on how long this has gone, we'll be splitting this up. But all the way through this process, you know, so I'll go through them again. So step 1, songwriting. Step 2, recruiting musicians. Then social media, rehearsing, recording, releasing. Now gigging. All the way through this process, you should be gigging, using your first gigs to refine your songs and your set before recording.
Yeah, I'm thinking back to our band when we wrote a whole bunch of songs before we and recorded a bunch of songs before we even got a chance to give a lot of them properly.
Yes.
And
yes, we did do that.
You know, we're talking from experience here.
yeah, because there were things on those first 3 songs that we should never have done. Like
we committed atrocities.
Yeah, we did, because
war crimes against music.
We put a stinking big guitar solo on a tune before the guitarist had even played a note with the band in a rehearsal. Don't do that. And as a result, it took so many rehearsals to try and get that working. Do you remember? Thinking 2 more weeks. Yeah. It took so long to get that tune sounding anything like what it was recorded, because it didn't happen or evolve naturally in a rehearsal space. It kind of was invented in a recording.
It was like invented in a lab, and like
it was invented in a lab.
Yeah, basically, and then it just sort of expected to sort of thrive naturally.
Yeah. You can do it that way, but I don't recommend it.
No.
You'll spend more time on it. It's better to come from a place of a natural place where it's all evolving naturally in a rehearsal studio.
Developing, yeah. You know. And,
oh, dear.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is all based on our mistakes.
Totally.
So, yeah, all the way through, you should be refining your songs by playing them at gigs.
Yeah.
But at the point where you've got material and you've released it, gigging that's where the money's made. So, I've got written here, gigging is where the vast bulk of your band's income comes from. After all, a band should be treated like a business if you want to become and remain sustainable. And a lot of people don't like that.
Oh no, yeah. I think it's people. A lot of people have a problem with the word business, and you know, they think business and then they think money, corporations.
Yep.
Bad.
Yeah.
And
those people are uneducated. Sorry. I don't care. If you can't turn a profit as a band, you're not gonna stay around unless you're a millionaire and you're just subsidizing with something else.
Can I just say here, just to alleviate, because I think I understand where people are coming from. You can still be authentic and true to yourself and true to your image and true to your vision, and still be a successful,
of course,
business.
I would say if you aren't true to yourself and try to do this as a business, you'll fail as well.
Yeah.
Like people buy things that they want and like, and if they don't want or like your music, they won't buy it.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, yeah, sure, people will still buy crap and tat, sure, but you don't want people just to buy your stuff because of money. You want them to get genuine pleasure from listening to your stuff.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're not doing your job. We operate in a society that, you know, works on money and all this, and things need paid for videos, recording days, rehearsal studios, instruments, petrol for touring, booking hotel rooms. That you need to pay for that, and it's always best to have a band fund. And if you're going to have a band fund, you need to make money doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's just the bottom line. Get over it. So, yeah, design.
This kind of goes in tandem with the last point, really.
In order to, make a profit at gigs, obviously you're operating in a network of other bands and genres and promoters and all this. So you can, if you've got a good following, you can put on your own gig, which we've done in the past, and it's been fantastic. It's been the most rewarding thing, I think, up there that I've ever done. There is nothing more rewarding than loads and loads of people turning up at the gig that you organised yourself. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like, it was almost emotional. Like, just unbelievable. And people were throwing money at us. They were wanting to buy all the merch. Because they were loving it.
Yeah.
Like, they really enjoyed it. And it's not because, oh yeah, money, rich, big fat capitalist. Like, it's nothing like that at all.
No.
It's nothing like that. It's like people really, really enjoyed our stuff. And that is like, wow, that's quite overwhelming.
Yeah, totally. 100%. And with the whole merch thing, not only are you a band making music, and not only are you a business, you're fashion designers.
Yep.
So think like that as well. This will come, I think I've spoken about this before, but if you have, if your band name, you should be able to wear your band merch in public. Right? So if your band is currently called Beelzebub's Enema, maybe reconsider. You're a brand, and if you're gonna make merch, make it interesting. Sometimes people don't want to wear band shirts, they'd rather have a really cool looking shirt. It can still represent your band, and people might ask, hey, you want to make a talking point as well.
That's what logos are for. You don't have to write the band's name. You can just have a logo.
Yeah. Just a really sick looking logo.
Yeah. Or artwork.
Yeah.
So yeah, design beautiful looking merch based on your band's artwork, and merch that you would buy yourself.
Yeah.
You go, I would want to wear this. I would want to buy this. Because if you don't want to buy it,
and totally, and going back to the very first point that we were making, don't try and make merch that will just please everybody. I know we have already done this, but I am not a fan of the plain black tee because I just think it's really boring.
Right.
The plain tee with the logo. Sure, a lot of bands have that. Some people like it. If me personally, because you're talking about there, merch that you yourself would buy, I would not buy a plain t-shirt with a logo on it. I would, especially not black or white. I'd want to buy something colorful, something with a print, something that is interesting, know. So just a couple of things to sort of think about and consider even when you are making merch.
Even the things that you offer, like the classic is beanies, hoodies, t-shirts, caps, plectrums, but think outside the box. I don't know, headphone wraps. So little cotton wraps that go around the headband of your headphones, branded. Stuff like that. No one's doing that.
No, that's a good point. Yeah.
I don't know, amp covers or do you know what I mean?
Guitar straps.
Guitar straps.
I've not seen a band that sells guitar straps.
That would be amazing.
That'd be great.
See if a lot. Say you figure out that a lot of your fans happen to be musicians. If you're in a prog metal band, 100%, 90% of your audience will be musicians. It's like whenever I go to like prog metal gigs, not often, but everyone's a musician there. They're all musicians because it's muso music. Do you know what I mean? If you're like a muso band where it's only musicians that go and sell like musician related stuff. If your demographic says 18-year-old kids that, I don't know, are starting uni, do like branded planners or something like that.
Phone cases, yeah. Like there's so much you can do. Be creative, think outside the box. There's no limit. I mean, like likes of those, I'm sitting looking at my set of congas. If there's stuff kicking about your house that you want rid of, go and sell them at the merch table. You never know, someone could buy it. Like, oh, I've got some, I don't know, old drumsticks or something. There'll be some daft person that'll go, you know what, I actually really could do with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen some weird stuff being bought, like guitar cases and like, why not? It's like, oh, that's the guitarist from XYZ's band's case that I bought.
Yeah.
Especially if you're getting a wee bit more famous, then you could probably get away with that. When you're starting out, probably not, but who knows? Let's be creative.
Yeah, totally.
Give the audience a unique and enjoyable experience. Bring your creativity to the gig. Make the evening something special, something worth paying for. It's the whole thing where you decorate the whole venue. So as soon as someone walks in, you've captured them.
You have created an experience.
Yes, it's an experience. It's not just going up and playing a song and going home. It's the whole gigging experience. And if you go to like, you know, really expensive bands, like name a band. Touring band, like that you would go and see right now and it would cost you £100 a ticket.
Kiss, probably.
Kiss, Springsteen, something like that. When you go, it's the whole thing is just...
Mate, Steely Dan, you know.
Yeah.
Some Phil Collins.
Like, gigs are so elaborate now. Like, they're charging so much more now because they have to make their profit there and not in the record sales anymore. That's why gigs are so expensive now. So the gigs are extremely overly produced. They've got set pieces and lighting and pyrotechnics and like it's insane like how far they go. Now you're starting out, you don't have that kind of budget, but you can do things that don't cost much. You know, you can deck the place out, make it look cool. Think about backing music before you come on to play on the PA as your fans are coming in and getting a drink. You know, choose the playlist. But just be creative.
You know, if you want to have like moving images and you know, like some kind of projector show in the background, do that.
Yeah.
One of the really cool thing that I saw, it was a comedy band that Rachel and I went to see called Ninja Sex Party, and what they did was they have like animated videos, music videos, and they played the song. And along, like the music video was in the background because they're hilarious. The videos are like an experience in and of it themselves. So they were performing these songs, and the videos in the background perfectly in sync. It was just fantastic. It was really, really cool.
Yeah.
Just an idea. That's a really easy thing to do. Click track.
Yeah, click.
You just need a click track. In-ears. Listen to the episode we did about in-ears.
Yeah.
You know, that's not that. It looks really complicated, but it's really not.
Yeah.
It's so simple.
It's you need to do a lot of research to figure out the easiest way of doing it, but there is technology now that you can do it with basically just a MacBook and an interface, or a MacBook and some sort of software that runs video and audio at the same time.
Yeah.
So when you press play, that it shows video through a projector and the audio goes to the in-ears of all the musicians with the clicks all routed. It might sound like a lot, but if you've got someone who knows what they're doing to help you, like a sound engineer, you could maybe get a sound engineer, you know, on board with your team to help you.
At some point.
And you can pay them a wage because you're a profitable band.
You're a business.
You can hire people and give people a source of income. So, yeah. And last, offer the audience something free as a thank you for being there. So I think I'm a big advocate for offering people free stuff because it's nice to have free stuff.
Yeah.
Comes from, there's a book I read called The Go-Giver.
Right.
It's about being a go-giver instead of a go-getter. So a go-giver is someone who offers as much as they can possibly offer for free.
Right.
And a lot of businesses use this model now. 30-day free trial.
Hear it all the time.
Yeah.
You know, one time, 1 year subscription, 90% off. You know, that's practically free at that point. You know what I mean? Like,
yep. Something I do sometimes is if someone's recorded an EP or an album, I'll maybe say, let's do 2 or 3 songs acoustic, and I'll not charge you. So you can come in and do like 3 acoustic versions of your songs to release for your bonus tracks, and I'll record them for free. Or like just a loyal customer.
Or alternate takes or whatever.
Alternate takes, yeah. I'll offer a free recording, because it's so good. Like when you get like real good value, where you've maybe spent money on an album recording, and the engineer's like, hey, do you want? I'm going to give you 3 tracks. Here's enough material to fill another EP for free.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And it's one of those things. It's like that's kindness begets kindness, right?
Yeah, I want to help people out. Like what business do I think I'm running if I'm like, here it's like £1,000 for your EP album, I'll see you later, and right? No, I'm going to offer that little bit more because I want them to do well. I want them to take this music and deliver it to their fans, and their fans absolutely love it. And I want them to be able to sustain themselves and come back, and go, we really loved the first thing. It went really well. It's been so good. Like, I want to do that again.
Yeah.
Like, what was it? It's a Henry Ford quote, whereas you have to have the ability to walk past a small pile of money to get to a larger pile of money, meaning that if you focus too much on like the wee bits here and there, you're missing out on a big opportunity. So you're better just offer what you can for as little as you can, because people will just think, oh my God, this is such good value, I'll come back. And the same goes for gigs. If you're offering this under promise and over deliver thing as well, which kind of comes from the Go-Giver, is offer them a ticket, and that's all you're offering. But when you give them the ticket, you give them a blah blah blah, fill in the blank, right? A beanie,
something,
a plectrum, like
a sticker,
a signed sticker.
People love stickers. Yeah,
it can be as small or big as you can afford. Just use your creativity and your imagination. I love doing that. I love saying, you're going to get this specifically, and then you give them more. Yeah. To the point where they're like, is this a mistake? I didn't order this. Go, oh no, it's on the house. Woohoo! Free stuff. It's brilliant. And it's not like a snidey, like, hey, I've got them. It's all part of my plan. I have to manipulate them so that I can get more money. No. You want them to like the stuff that you're producing. It's not like, I'm greedy, I want your money. It's like, no, I want happy people. I want to offer other human beings something that they value. That's what it's about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like,
spot on.
Do that. Yeah. So yeah, step 8, rinse and repeat. Go back to step 1 and do it again. Yeah. All through this process, be sure that you are being strict with yourself when it comes to writing and releasing regular material. This comes from experience, because what ends up happening is bands, they focus too much on one release and then they forget to write new material. So when it does release, they become lazy and stagnant and there's no new material, and then the band splits up. So never stop writing music.
Always have something new.
Bands who stop writing always break up. And it doesn't happen overnight, because the whole chain of events from song to gig or song to release is a long process. So the band might be dying and you'll not know for like 6 months, because there's no new material coming up through the process. By the time it comes to, oh, we need to release something. Oh, wait, we don't have anything written. It's like, it's a long, slow death. It's a horrible thing.
Yeah.
So keep it going. Another thing that kills bands is maintain the communication between your bandmates and don't keep people in the dark.
I mean, it just goes, it's not even just bands, it's all about maintaining good relationships, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just good communication. Talk to people. Don't keep people in the dark about things, you know. And just be honest with people, you know. Last thing, you know, and I was pretty bad for this, and I still catch myself on occasion, you know. Don't talk badly about other band members with other band members.
Gossip.
Gossip is such a, you know, it's gotten to the point where now when people try to gossip with me or tell me about how horrible people are, I'm kind of like, I kind of don't care. Honestly,
yeah.
Don't talk to me about this, you know, like, because all I'm hearing is, here is a sad, broken individual you're telling me about. This is a shame. You know, rather than like, you know.
The only thing I take from that is, well, should I avoid this person or should I? That's basically.
Yeah. I mean, like that's the other point. It's like, oh, that's good information, I guess. I should avoid this person, but just mindless gossiping is just.
Yeah.
Avoid it as well, you know.
Totally.
Be transparent with everybody.
Yeah, just tell the truth.
Just tell the truth.
Or at least don't lie. Oh my God. Maintain your communication and delegate administrative tasks like email, social media, bookkeeping, rehearsal organizing, because nobody can do all that by themselves.
It's hard.
And delegation only works when your communication is good. Because if you delegate and then you don't talk to each other, you end up double emailing and double posting, and you know, someone emails a venue and then another person from the same band emails the same email. It's just embarrassing. And just maintain your communication. That goes to like management and stuff.
Yeah.
And as much as possible, do not ask your musicians, your fellow musicians, for money. Use the band's funds from the band bank account.
At the very beginning, there's not going to be much you can do.
Correct.
Because it's going to be unavoidable.
Yeah.
But after a certain point, you know, when you're touring, you know, you shouldn't have to ask money from people to pay for accommodation or, you know, essentials like sustenance. You know, food. You know,
if you're the band manager, your number one job, aside from making music, your number one job is to get the band self-sustaining as fast as humanly possible.
Yeah.
So that people don't have to put their hands in their pockets every time we need to pay for something like album artwork or whatever. Your job is to make the band profitable as soon as you possibly can, so that it can pay for itself. And people don't get bitter and they're like, oh, I just gave you £50. Like, do I have to give you like that's £75 to pay this guy who did this work for us? We need to pay it, or we're not going to have a release. Oh, okay. Oh, you know, paycheck's not in yet. I need to pay rent. People start becoming like, oh, do I really need to be in this band? Like, I was kind of like annoyed at paying it last time, blah, blah, blah. Tension.
Yeah. I'm not making any money from this. This is a waste of time.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Good thing about being profitable as well if you've got a little bit of profit left over and you've paid for all the stuff you need to pay for, you can start paying members monthly wages. That's sweet. Like if you can be profitable enough to actually
It's
pay,
possible.
it's 100% possible. If you're creative and you offer people something that they want to buy and they find value in it, they'll pay you for it. And with the profit, why not say like, okay, it could be like a part-time wage almost. If you can get to that point where, say, your guitarist is full-time doing, I don't know, coffee, like Starbucks.
Work. Yeah.
They could cut down on their hours because they're being given an income from the band, like, and they can spend more time rehearsing and recording and doing band stuff. And
it's personally, I feel like it's very difficult. I certainly noticed this with with the wedding band as well. It's like once it starts going and it gets going, and it's very easy to just keep it going. Any kind of like stop or whatever is it's all down to self-sabotage of some description that you're not realizing you're doing.
Yeah.
Pay
attention to everything that's going on, because there could be something really wrong that you're not aware of because you haven't paid attention to either people or processes or make sure everything's clear. Everyone knows where they stand. It's like the whole process is it's a creative one, and it's creative right from songwriting all the way to delivering something to an audience. And if any of the wheels in the machine that makes that work is rusty and not working, the whole thing's going to collapse, and you need to pay attention to the whole machine and tend to it, make sure that it works, because it's fun. That's why we do music in it. It's because it's good, it's fun, it's enjoyable. It's a heavy responsibility. It's a proper thing, and when you get it done right, it's so rewarding, and people will reward you for that, especially if they really like what you're doing. So that's basically all I had on that. There's quite a big one, and this is probably going to be a two-parter. So yeah, hope that was concise enough. It's basically a year's information of podcasting I'll put into one episode or two episodes. Bit of a meaty chunk, but
that was good though.
It's helpful. The podcast has helped me personally. Bless you.
Sorry, that's been brewed. That's been brewing for a while.
Good old sneeze. Yeah, the podcast has really helped me identify things that I could improve upon in my own projects.
Same.
It's been great. So
I hope it's helped you too.
Yeah, this episode is an attempt to just put that in a sum up format in one episode that you can just binge.
Yes.
Rather than go through 70 odd episodes.
Potentially 2 episodes.
Like obviously the way I've worked all the titles of all the episodes, you can kind of get a gist of what the episode's going to be about by the title. So if there's like a specific thing that you want to learn a bit more about, just look down the titles and go, there's one about songwriting, there's one about releasing, or there's one about Spotify or whatever. You can pick and choose episodes. I know some people that do that, where they'll not listen to the whole thing, but they'll maybe pick and choose topics that interest them, which is fair enough. I do that with like interview podcasts. Like I'll go, oh, that's a cool guest, I'll listen to that. I don't want to listen to every episode, but they have a cool guest on or something. But hope that was helpful. Hope it helps you level up your band. I don't know what is on the cards for next week, but see what happens. See what happens. We're all back gigging now, so
I know.
We might have some gig related material.
That'd
be cool. So yeah, we've
Yeah,
done.
I'm playing my first proper gig this Sunday.
Aye,
Yeah, I mean, like not wedding band, like an actual gig with
gig.
an artist. So
Nice.
I'll see if anything weird happens. I'll probably be fine.
Yeah.
Oh.
Cool. As always, if you enjoyed this, please give us a review and a like and a subscribe, and tell your bandmates if you're in a band, and share to other musicians if they, because people don't know about this stuff, or maybe they do, but they just can't put it in their own words. Or it's good to sit and listen to this. It's been good for us because like I have to think about every week a new thing to talk about, and you really start to rack your brains, and then you're like, oh wow, there's a whole vast amount of stuff that I didn't even think about before. So yeah, hope it's helped. And don't know what's happening next week, but we'll find out. So hope this has been good.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.